This thing is massive, and yes, that is what she said. If you don't know me or my channel, my name is Zach, and this is my channel, Ultimate Rebuilds. I build a lot of cool, unique things, boats, cars, jet skis, scooters. I build a lot of stuff, and I make my own style to it. About 8 months or so ago, I bought my first pontoon boat. It was a 20-foot Sweetwater that used to be a fishing barge. I tore it all off, and I started from scratch and built my own custom party barge. It was rebuilt from the ground up. It had custom bar, custom lighting, a very nice trailer, very nice everything. That whole pontoon boat was very nice. I ended up selling that boat because I wanted to move on to bigger and better things, and I definitely bought something way bigger. This is a 2006 24-foot Bentley. Now, Bentley, from what I understand, is more of the higher quality pontoons that you can buy. I know Bennington is a very popular one and very high quality, but I'm pretty sure Bentley is pretty good. And I know the car brand is pretty nice, so I would assume the Bentley boat brand would be nice too. This build series is going to be another custom one. A lot of this stuff is going away and starting from scratch. I will go over it in a little bit. I just want to give you guys a rundown of what's going on with this boat and what I know about it right now. So I think we'll start with the pontoon first, and then we'll talk about the motor and the trailer and my future plans for it. I guess we should start with the price. I paid $2,000 for this. I bought it from a private seller on LetGo. I shop a lot of LetGo, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, all those stuff. People ask me all the time where I find my deals. I just constantly check those 3 apps for good deals and hit the hop on it right away if you find one. So bought this for $2,000, came with a trailer, 24-foot, clean title and everything. It does not have a motor though, and I'll get to that in a little bit and plans for the motor. So like I said, this is a Bentley 24-foot long. The pontoons are massive. Comparing to my last pontoon, it was 23 inches in diameter and up and down. These ones I think are 26, 25, something like that. Doesn't seem like much, but looking at it in person, you can definitely tell they are huge. Pontoons are in pretty good shape. They are beat up, and it's to be expected for this big of a pontoon boat and how old it is. Not in too bad a shape. You can kind of see on the line right here, it's dented in and has some waves to it, but like I said, that's to be expected for an old pontoon boat. There is a little bit of pitting. It's only on the water line though. On my last pontoon boat, where the paint was, it was all pitted down and had a hole in it somewhere up in the front I fixed. But this is just right here. I don't think it leaks anywhere. I checked over it before I bought it, looking for holes, and I couldn't find any. It's just a little bit of pitting, and I don't think that's too big of a deal. We'll look into how to fix that. I didn't really fix it on my last pontoon boat because I already had paint on it and just repainted it. I don't think I'm planning on painting these, but I think we'll dig into that in a later episode on what plans are for this. But definitely want to clean it up and try to make the pitting look a little bit better and less noticeable. Same thing with the other side. Dents, I think this side's a little bit worse than the other side with the dents, but not too bad. Now there is one thing damaged on it, and that is this fin, this water fin thing. I don't know what it's called, but you can see it's cracked. It looks like it hit something and bent up, cracked right here. I have not welded aluminum before, but I'm down to give it a try. I have a welder that can do regular steel, or you can TIG weld aluminum. Might even buy like a spool gun aluminum welder and try to weld. I can weld metal pretty well, but aluminum is something new I have not tried yet, but I'm down to try it on this one. Under the boat looks really good. The wood is actually in pretty good shape. I'll show you some of the parts that are a little soft and starting to come apart a little bit. Underneath the pontoons, you can see it was in the salt water a lot. There's actually shells and algae and stuff attached to the bottom, so we'll have to get that off before we clean it up. So we'll get all the shells and stuff off before we clean up the pontoons, and I'm gonna address it before people in the comments already ask me. I do not want to fully polish these and make them really shiny. It takes a lot of effort. It'll probably take 4-5 days maybe to even fully polish this because they are pitted and everything. And also it will go bad after your first time being out in the water. It will start to fade and not be shiny anymore, and it's just not really something I'm looking to do. But for the most part, these pontoons are in pretty good shape. Now for the decking, it all looks pretty good except for around the corners. You can see it's starting to get a little old and worn out. Flooring isn't that bad. It could probably rip up and you can replace the flooring and call it a day. But for what my plans are, I'm gonna have to remove this wood and I'll probably just end up replacing it. Moving up top, you can pretty much tell what's going on. It is not very pretty. The flooring is really nice though. If you really wanted to just flip this boat, you could probably just get all new seats put a console in and flip it and make quite a bit of money, especially for how much pontoon boats are selling, or boats in general, just because there's a lack of them. You can probably flip this thing and make your money back, and plus a bunch more pretty easily. But that is not very ultimate. We're going to do a completely different design, layout, and everything, even different from my last pontoon boat. But there is going to be a bar, and I'll get into a whole design layout in a little bit. Talking about the seats, they are pretty much gone. Not much foam left in most of them. The only thing that's really good about them are the seat backs, but even then they are starting to get eaten away and fall apart. It's probably best to just replace all these. I'll end up selling these if you guys are interested in buying them. They'll need a lot of work, but they are for sale. Same thing with the fencing too. I'm gonna get rid of that. Flooring is in pretty good shape. I don't have the console and steering. That was already gone before I bought it from the previous guy. And I used to have a foam piece up here. I don't know what happened to it. I must have lost it on the drive home. I know there was one there before, but it's gone. Don't know what happened to it. Now, since we're talking about the flooring, the seats and everything, I figured I'll talk about the best place to buy all replacement stuff, and that is pontoonstuff.com. They have new flooring, new seats, new everything is all very affordable. It comes with warranties. I believe it's a 5-year warranty when you buy new seats from them. They also offer new fencing, which I'm going to be putting on and showing you guys how to install. It's going to be a lot of cool stuff. That's where I'm going to get mostly everything for this build, besides the custom stuff that I'm going to have to build because it can't really buy it anywhere. But we'll talk about that custom stuff in a little bit. Let's talk about this trailer first too, because this is a very nice trailer. This trailer is very nice and very heavy duty. If you know anything about pontoons, or you have a pontoon and you're looking for a trailer, you know how hard it is to find a good one in good shape. And this one is in pretty good shape. We'll talk about the little bit of stuff I'm going to replace and do to it. Now, my last pontoon boat, I had a little problem with my original trailer. It was a single axle and I added a lot more weight to my pontoon. So I was breaking the axle basically. I actually broke the hubs on both of them on one little trip down to my lake. It was probably due to my friends being up on top while I was pulling it down, but I definitely needed a bigger trailer. So I ended up finding a double axle after searching for like 2 months. I bought it from a guy who built it up and said it was in really good shape, but it was pretty ugly. So I redid that all the way, painted it, made it look pretty good, and it was actually a very good trailer. But this trailer is in really good shape, and I could probably sell it right now for $1,500, make almost my money back, and have a free pontoon basically. As you can tell right here, is gonna need new wood very soon. Probably gonna do that once I start working on the boat and have a free week to fully redo this trailer. If you watched my last build, you may have noticed my custom trailer. I had custom LED lights in it from gatorback.com. Super awesome. I'm definitely gonna implement that on this trailer build too, because it was very nice. It was awesome for night boating and just all around cool in general. Underneath is pretty good shape. I am going to have to replace these springs though, because you can kind of see how rusty they are. Gonna end up replacing those. I think they're okay right now, but it's definitely something to address in the future. Same thing with these mounts. They are starting to look pretty rusty. I might have to replace a lot of those too. We'll see though, because we're gonna have to be adding something in the middle here in a little bit too. Wheels and tires are in good shape too. They have bearing buddies to keep the whole hubs in good shape, so good for that. Might end up replacing those too. I don't know. Tires are in okay shape though. On the other side, you can see that there was a rim that is bent in. Probably end up replacing that rim. It's holding air right now, but something to address in the future too. Hand winch, I'm probably gonna end up replacing because the hook is in pretty rusty shape along with this. Replace that while I'm redoing the whole thing and just make it all in very new, good shape. Same thing with this trailer jack. This trailer jack does not work because it doesn't have a hand crank anymore, so it doesn't go up and down. Gonna be replacing that in this episode because I need to get it off my truck and I don't really want to drag my jack all the way out here to get it off the trailer. These steps are very nice. My first trailer I had was really nice. My second trailer was a little bit more sketchy, harder to get up on, but this is very nice, this little grab handle. Very nice trailer. I keep saying very nice, but this is a very good trailer, and I think it's gonna do very well for this whole build. All right, we talked about the boat, we talked about the trailer. Now let's talk about the motor, or really the lack of. A motor did not come with this boat. I wasn't really too concerned about that because I actually replaced our motor on my last pontoon, ended up upgrading it to a 4-stroke. I don't really expect these older boats to have a nice motor or really a 4-stroke or anything like that, so I already planned to probably replace it. Luckily, I already have one. Literally the day after I bought this, I was taking my dad to the airport and I found one that popped up on Facebook Marketplace for $2,500. It was a 2011 115 horsepower Suzuki 4-stroke. If you've been searching on Facebook or Craigslist or wherever, you know it's hard to find a cheap motor that is in running shape. So let me show you it. Here it is right now. I wish I could go over it and start it up for you guys, but I actually do not know if it starts. I bought this from a boat shop in Orlando, and they actually replace a lot of these motors with newer units. So a customer came in, replaced this with a newer, higher horsepower motor. So it was in running shape beforehand. I just don't have a video of it running or proof that it ran beforehand because it was already off the boat. You can see it is a little rusty. I didn't see that when I bought it. I don't think it's super a big deal. And also you may notice the bottom end is brown while the rest of it is black. I'm assuming that was replaced before. Don't really know. I don't have any history on this motor, but it is a 115 horsepower and I only paid $2,300 for it. I talked him down a little bit from the $2,500. And this one actually came with an electric steering thing or the manual one if you want to. I don't know what I'm going to use yet, and I will tell you why in a second. Now, it's been sitting in my truck for a couple days. I don't like that. I don't like it keeping on the side for a while, but I have no way to get it out of there. I think it's okay if it stays like this for a little bit longer, but just know I'm trying to get it out, but I just have no way to get it out right now. So hopefully pretty soon. But you guys let me know if that was a good deal or not. I'm really curious. I think it was a really good deal, even for a Suzuki, especially a 4-stroke. All right, we went over the boat, we went over the trailer, we went over the motor, we talked about everything I have currently for this boat. Now let's talk about plans, because there are some big plans, some custom stuff, some first time ever being built stuff. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that right now. First thing we're gonna talk about is the bottom right here. I am actually adding a tri-tune to it. Now, the last boat I built, I installed a tri-tune. It was Pontoon Wholesalers Poly Tri-Tune Kit. Is a more of like a plastic-based pontoon. It's very nice, very easy to install. I installed it in less than 2 hours by myself. Very easy to install. It was a very nice overall product. I definitely recommend it. It definitely added a lot more buoyancy to my pontoon and made it a lot more fun to drive. I only drove my pontoon a couple times before I added the tri-tune, and it made a huge difference. I would never go back to a regular pontoon. I even said that in my video. Don't want a pontoon anymore. I want a tri-tune if I do any kind of pontoon boats. But this time I'm going to be installing an aluminum pontoon, or aluminum tri-tune really. The aluminum tri-tune I'm adding is massive. It's actually going to be like 26 feet long, so it's going to be 2 foot longer than these current pontoons. The motor is going to be attached to it, so it attaches right here, and it also has a spot for a gas tank right behind it in the transom area. It's going to mount up similar to what these are, going to be mounting up to my cross beams. It shouldn't be super hard, but it is going to be really heavy, and I don't know how I'm going to do that by myself. It's going to be a lot different from the Pontoon Wholesalers pontoon, because that one was very easy to install, and this one's going to be a lot more difficult. Also, these aluminum pontoons actually have a storage spot in the middle somewhere that you can put anchors, other stuff in it, maybe a cooler or something. I've never been on a boat with an aluminum tri-tune before, but they seem pretty nice, so I feel like this is gonna be a good experience for me to be able to install both of them and tell you guys what's more beneficial for you guys. The everyday DIYer or the more like technical person who wants an aluminum tri-tune, I feel like that's a good experience for me to have, is be able to tell you guys what's better for you. And hopefully I can do that. I'm currently looking for one right now because I kind of need it before I start building this boat, because I need to know how to install it, and I think I have to take the flooring off to install the tri-tune on it. I think. Still learning a lot about the aluminum tri-tunes, but hopefully find one here pretty soon. The fencing and everything is going to be replaced along with the seats and stuff. Let's talk about the layout I'm going for. Like I said, all this stuff is going away. The fencing's going away, flooring's going away, seats are going away, everything's going away. We're going to start with a blank slate. So we're going to have a new seating layout. All this stuff is going to be moved up. Fencing is probably going to stop a foot from the front right here. And it's going to have a moon-shaped seating, probably a U-shape more like it. So that means there's not going to really be a gate in the front. Now, a lot of newer pontoons actually have a seat up there that actually folds out of the way, so you can still use that gate. I would love to implement that somehow. I don't know how it works though, so maybe I'll do a little bit more research trying to figure that out, but just know that the seats are probably going to start from here and go all the way up to probably a foot right there. So there's gonna be a lot of seating up here. It'll fit a lot of people. The original capacity for this boat is around 14 to 16 people, so we're gonna stay right around that. Gonna be able to add a little bit more when I add the tri-tune, but we're gonna stay right around the 14 or 16 people range. Now, about right here is where the storage spot's gonna be. Like I said, on that tri-tune, it's gonna have a storage spot. You can lift up and put all your stuff in there. Somewhere around there, I think. And up here, I'm gonna be adding another fire pit. Now, before you say anything, it's gonna be very safe. My last pontoon boat actually had a fire pit on it. Very popular, super big hit. Everyone loved it. I'm gonna be adding another one, but I'm gonna have to custom build this one because you can't buy those anymore, and also it's gonna have to be a little bit bigger to fit more seating area. So that's the plans. It might change in the future. A lot of this stuff might actually change in the future, but this is my plans going forward right now, so you guys can get an idea of what my plan is. Now, if you watched my last build, you know I built a fully custom bar that had 8 seats around it, and also the steering console. Steering console was in the back, kind of in front of the motor. Stereo right here, throttle, everything was ran from right there. I also had 7 other seats around there for other people. Huge popular hit that really made my build what it was. Very cool. It had storage underneath for the batteries and all the electronics and everything. I love the bar. It was a huge hit because you could play. It was very nice to have on a boat because you could play cards and drink and just talk with all your friends right around the table. It was really cool, really nice. I'm going to be building another one, but it's going to be different. First off, the steering is not going to be on it. It's actually going to be in the original spot for boats. It's going to be over here. It's going to have its own steering console, own captain's chair. There wasn't really a problem for it being on the bar, but people kind of got in the way a little bit. It was a lot harder to drive because it was in the very back of the boat. It's kind of hard to see where you're going. Wasn't super big deal, but it's definitely gonna be a lot easier having its own spot over here. Now for this bar, I have a bunch of different ideas. A lot of the newer boats are actually adding bars on it, and they have a ton of different options, ideas of what people can do. I'm gonna be throwing pictures up on the screen of their different ideas and which ones I like, which ones I'm leaning more towards. Let's first talk about my favorite design, the one I think is gonna be the easiest one to build, and also I kind of like a lot. This one kind of has a bean shape. It has some storage in it, 4 seats around it, cup holders and everything. Pretty much what I need for a bar. I would like to make it a little bit bigger. I would like to have at least 5 or 6 people around it. So might to adjust the sizing a little bit. And I'm gonna be building it out of something different. The top isn't gonna be wood anymore. It's gonna be a more marine safe option. Don't really know what that is. It's probably like a hard plastic out there I can build out of. Not really sure yet, but it's definitely gonna be somewhere around here. Other options is, one really cool one is a foldable one. It has like a bed back here that I can fold into a bar. Super cool option. I would love to be able to build that. Don't know if I can. We'll look into that a little bit more. I don't think I can buy that straight out because I think it's custom to whatever boat that is. I don't think I could buy that, but super cool option. Another one is this horseshoe shaped one. Very cool. It has like basically a kitchen in there. It's a wet bar, sink, high top. Very cool. It's definitely the best looking one, I think, but it only has 3 or 4 seats around it, and it's all facing one way. You can't really be social and play card games on it, so really cool option. I would love to have that, but I think it's not very beneficial for what I'm looking for. I want it to be more of a communal area where everyone can stare at each other and play card games and stuff. So really cool option, but probably not going to go with that one. Lastly is a very simple one. It's just 2 posts and a bar in the back. Very simple. That one's probably pretty easy to build. I want something a little bit more complicated than that, so I'm probably not going to go with that one. So like I said, the bean shape, we're going to call it the bean shaped one. That's the one I'm leaning more towards. And also back here, I'm going to be adding more to this. I'm also really wanting a wet bar. This is more like a high top area for everyone to sit. I want a wet bar over here behind the captain's chair. It's going to be like a nice little arched area. It's going to have a sink in it, maybe a spot over here for a grill, some storage racks, not really sure yet. Some storage underneath, a water tank for the sink to pump out fresh water. Love that idea. Love to have like a little kitchen back here, a little separate area. Just an idea I'm throwing out. It's something I'm really leaning towards. We used the grill a lot on my last boat, and having the bar up there to sell the food on is nice, but it did take up a lot of room, so I'd like to have its own little area, a nice little kitchenette area for it. I think that's a cool idea. And even after all that stuff I'm gonna add, I still have a ton more room back here. I don't know what my plan is. I don't really have an idea for what I could put back here, so if you guys have other ideas, I would love to hear it. I'm not gonna have a gas tank up on top of the deck anymore. It's gonna be in the Tritoon, so I still have a ton of room. So if you guys have ideas for back here, love to hear it. Not really set on a plan back here, but love to hear you guys' ideas. Now all this is really cool and dandy. This is stuff I've done before. Shouldn't be too hard. So now let's talk about the complicated one and the one of a kind. I am adding a upper deck to this, but not just any upper deck. This upper deck is gonna be able to fold down. Now, the reason I want it to fold down is because a lot of my local lakes have bridges on it that I can't go underneath unless you have a very low sitting boat or no bimini top. I wouldn't be able to take my ski boat out there because of the ski tower. It wouldn't be able to fit underneath the bridges that we go under, so I really want one that folds down. And also for towing, because it makes it a lot easier when you're towing a boat when it's not super high up in the air, so that's also another benefit. So I'm gonna build one. I'm gonna be the first one that I know of that actually builds one that folds down. We'll see. You guys can let me know if you found one. I could not find one, but let me know if you guys find one and email it to me. But I think I'm gonna be the first one. It's gonna fold down forward. It's gonna sit right the railing and the seats and stuff. It's not gonna hit anything. You're gonna be able to remove it with, you're gonna be able to fold it down with kind of little effort. You're gonna have like 2 people probably to hold it up because it is gonna be a little heavy. It's gonna easy disconnect for folding down use, lock into place when you're towing it, and also underneath bridges in your lake. You're gonna be able to fold it down and fold it right back up once you go back over it. The deck's gonna be mainly for like sun tanning or jumping off of. I'm not gonna have a slide or anything on it that I know of. Maybe a diving board. Not really sure my plans are with it, but I know a lot of people wanted me to have a double-decker boat. And I really wanted to build that for you guys, but I also really wanna go underneath my bridges and my lakes because that makes my lakes really fun. You can go to different bars and stuff. So the upper deck is hopefully gonna happen. I am in talks with a mechanical engineer to do all the testing and designing, or help me design it, to make sure it's safe and capable of what I wanted to do. Also gonna have to find someone to actually build it for me since I do not have the tools to bend aluminum or bend stainless steel to make it look right and be able to fold. So gonna be on the lookout for that. I'm hoping it happens. So that is the plan for this build. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, what you guys are excited about, other ideas you guys might have. Love hearing from you guys. It's gonna be a very big build and very time consuming. It's gonna be a lot of focus, and I hope you guys are excited about another really big build because this is a very big build. It's definitely gonna be my biggest by far. You just look how big this boat is, and it's gonna get a whole new rebuild. So make sure you are subscribed and liking and everything because this is gonna be a very big build. Episodes are gonna be coming quick, so I hope you guys are very excited for a new, really big build. All right, I'm gonna install this trailer jack so I can get it off my truck, and we're gonna start tearing this thing apart in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Follow me on Instagram if you don't already. I post a lot behind the scenes. I posted teasers of this build, and you guys can check me out there. If not, I will catch you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. All right, bye.